Hi, Tim. Yeah, welcome to today's lecture in equation, where we are looking at quadratic equations. So I want us to look at quadratic equations. So quadratic equations, and we are going to solve using the quadratic formula. So the first one, by the use of quadratic formula. So solve for x. Solve for x. Number one, we are given x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. So we need to take note that where there's x squared, the coefficient there is 1. Therefore, A is equal to 1, B is equal to 5, and C is equal to 6. So the formula is that x is equal to negative b, positive or negative, square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So just substitute the values of a, b, and c. So x will be equal to the value of b is 5. So that's negative 5, positive or negative, square root of 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times c, which is 6, over 2 times 1. So x will be equal to negative 5, positive or negative, square root of 5 squared, that's 25. Negative 4 times 1, that's negative 4. Negative 4 times 6, that's negative 24 over 2. So our x will be equal to negative 5, positive or negative, square root of 25 minus 24, you get a 1 over 2. And the square root of 1 is equal to 1. Therefore, our x is negative 5, positive or negative 1 over 2. So here now, we'll make two equations. So x will be equal to negative 5 plus 1 over 2, or x is equal to negative 5 minus 1 over 2. So our x will be equal to negative 5 plus 1, that's negative 4 divided 2, and x will be equal to negative 2. And this side, x will be equal to negative 5 minus 1, definitely get a negative 6. You divide 2, x becomes negative 3. So that's the first example on solving using the quadratic formula. And the second example is that we are given 3x squared minus 7x equal to 12. So what we can do, the 12 has to come this side. So we have 3x squared minus 7x. This 12 is positive because the other side becomes negative. So minus 12 will give us a 0. So once we have this, then we can have the value of A, B, and C. So A will be equal to the coefficient of x squared is 3, then the coefficient of x, which is B, is -7, and C is -12. So we write the formula x equal to -b, positive or negative, square root over b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Our x will be equal to negative. The value of b there is -7, positive or negative, square root over -7 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 3, and c, which is -12, over 2 times 3. Our x will be equal to negative times -7, we get +7, positive or negative, square root over -7 squared, we get +49. -4 times 3, that's -12. -12 times -12, we get +144. That's plus 144 over 2 times 3, we get a 6. So our x will be equal to 7, positive or negative, 49 plus 144. We are going to get a square root of 193 over 6. So square root of 193 will get 7, positive or negative, 13.89. So we separate the equations. So over 6. So our x will be equal to 7 plus 13.89 over 6, or x is equal to 7 minus 13.89 over 6. Our x will be equal to 7 plus 13.89. We'll get 20.89. We divide 6. Our x will be equal to 3.48. While the other side, x will be equal to 7 minus 13.89, we get -6.89. We divide by 6, our x will be equal to -1.148. So that's how you solve using the quadratic formula. Now let's try to solve the quadratic equations using a factorization. Using factorization. So solve for x. Solve for x by factorizing. Solve for x by factorizing. So number 1, you are given x squared minus 7x, which is equal to -10. So the first thing to do is to bring this 10 this side. So x squared minus 7x, 10 goes the other side, becomes +10, which is equal to 0. So we need to look for two numbers such that when we add, we'll get -7, and when we multiply, we'll get +10. So what are those two numbers? So we're looking for sum here. Sum is -7, and the product is 10, and the factors in this case, it will be -2 and -5. -2 and -5. So if we say x squared minus 7x plus 10 equal to 0. So we say x squared minus 2x minus 5x plus 10 equal to 0. So negative 2 times negative 5, you get positive 10. And negative 2 minus 5, you get negative 7. So we have two x's there. One x will be outside, the other one will be inside the bracket. X into negative 2x, that will be negative 2. And where there's negative 5x, say negative 5. Open bracket to put x there, negative 5 into positive 10. That's negative 2 is equal to 0. So x minus 5 will be equal to 0, and x minus 2 will be equal to 0. So x will be equal to positive 5, and x will be equal to positive 2. Let's solve one last question, one last example on factorizing. So the second example here, we are given 2 square root of x minus 3, which is equal to x minus 3. So the first thing to do is to get rid of the square root. So the first thing to do is to get rid of the square roots of the square root. So how do we get rid of the square root? Is by introducing what? A 2. So we have 2 square root of x minus 3 squared, which will give us x minus 3 squared. We all know that 2 squared will give us a 4. And if we have square root of x minus 3, 2 there, the 2 and the square root cancels, which means we have x minus 3. So therefore, we are going to have 4 x minus 3, and the other side where we have x minus 3 squared will be x minus 3 as well as x minus 3. So 4 times x, you get 4x. 4 times negative 3, you get negative 12, which is equal to x times x. You get x squared. X times negative 3, you get negative 3x. Negative 3 times x, that's negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3, that's positive 9. So therefore, like terms together, we have x squared negative 3 minus 3x. So we are putting like terms together. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 3x. And also the 4 goes the other side, becomes negative, plus 9 plus 12 equal to 0. So we are going to have x squared negative 3x minus 3x minus 4x. What are we having? So if we say negative 3 minus 3, we get negative 6. Negative 6 minus 4, that's negative 10. So that's negative 10x. 9 plus 12, we are going to get 21, which is equal to 0. So we need to look for two numbers. We look for two numbers. So the product here is 21. The sum here is negative 10. And the factors, what are the factors? Factors will be negative 3 and negative 7. So if we say negative 3 minus 7, we get negative 10. Negative 3 times negative 7, you get positive 21. So this means that x squared minus 10x plus 21 equal to 0. So what you have here is x squared minus 3x minus 7x plus 21, we get a 0. So we have two x's, one x outside, one inside the bracket. X into negative 3, we get negative 3, negative 7x, negative 7 into 21, that will be negative 3 equal to 0. So x minus 7 will give us 0, and x minus 3 will give us a 0. So x will be equal to positive 7, and x will be equal to positive 3. So this is how you solve quadratic equations using factorization as well as using the quadratic formula. Thank you so much. Please feel free to go through the video, and if you have a question, you can definitely inbox me on WhatsApp. Thank you and have a good day.